The Nature of Mind. A talk by Oscar Ichazo. In 1968, Oscar Ichazo, the father of the modern Enneagram movement, began teaching his unique philosophical system called integral philosophy, in which he answers one of the great philosophical questions: what is the nature of mind? In 1997, he gave a series of talks known as the Velocity Lectures. The following is an excerpt from one of those talks.
We want to know if the ego has certain substance. What is his substance? You have really to repeat the question till the person really realizes is that there is no substance there. This means pretty much to one thing, that there is no ego entity. Then what it is there? There is only mind. There is only a mind who is aware constantly, that is looking. This awareness is the basis of all these appearances. You take the awareness out, everything disappears. Inasmuch the awareness is there, I mean the mind, all the appearances are there. But now, caution here. That appearances and the mind are the same thing. This is like water. This is the oldest of metaphors for the mind. It's like water. It's totally calm, totally crystalline, and doesn't move. And the thinking is like the waves in that water. But one thing here is important. The waves and the water are the same. So thinking is water moving. Awareness is water not moving. Now what we want is to get in a state of unification of this quietude of mind and the movement, and nevertheless we are still in state of meditation, meaning we didn't forget that the entire thing is just our mind. Inasmuch we sustain that, we have insight into the nature of our mind. What's the nature of our mind? All appearances and the mind are like water. They are the same. Now we are going to see more closely the three minds. These keys, they follow the law of the pentagram in the same way that the Chinese 5 elements, all the keys process in the same way. The first mind is the base, the absolute mind. The second mind is the thinking of the mind. That's the relative mind. And the third is the compose of both minds, the union of both. Well, I say to you immediately, one of the exercises to do is an exercise that we can call the exercise of the big I. In this sense of, you take your hands and you start just extending the hands till there is a point where they disappear. If you see the focus in front of you, I'm sorry, that's well, you get a mini. Okay. This size that is your panorama You imagine as being an eye. It could happen a form of an eye. But when all of it, without anything in it, that's the base. All the figures that appear in it are the relative mind, are the thoughts. Now, the third state is that you become aware that this base and the thoughts are of the same material, so to speak. Same nature is better to say. What nature is that? Thought nature. And what's the nature of thought? Awareness. So in final consequence, we are talking of awareness again. Awareness of the base that is empty because it's fundamentally simple. Awareness of the emptiness of the thoughts are empty of what? They are empty of self. It's a different emptiness. The emptiness of the base is because it's singular. The emptiness of the thinking process is because it's unstable. It's transitory. Then it's void of self in the sense of an entity that stays, doesn't stay. So it's empty of what? It's empty of self. It's a no self because changes. And finally, we have to see that when we do the union, we are seeing the base totally empty. Now we are seeing the thoughts that nevertheless that they are moving, we know they are empty. We don't forget that. At that very moment, we have the union of the two minds because we know both are just the same stuff. One not moving, the other one moving, same stuff. Everything is mind. At that point, we are in perfect state of enlightenment. We know this is gnosis for sure. First, the absolute mind presents to us as a total blackness, have to be with containing nothing in it. That's what we call blackness. Then the second point is to know that that blackness is actually the foundation of our mind, the base, the ground. That is, let's say, the second attribute. First is black, second is the foundation, ground or base. Third is quiescence by nature. We are aware of it when we enter quiescence. And quiescence is like water, calm, in total stability. Then it comes a very powerful ancient image, the image of a clear mirror. When the absolute mind with no thought is looking, is just reflecting, like a mirror. Doesn't get disturbed for what is appearing in the mirror. That is why it's called clear mirror, and the appearances in it doesn't disturb the mirror at all. It is a state of awareness, like just looking and leaving everything as it is, not interference, just looking. But now, looking what? Your own mind. Then all what you are looking becomes your own proposition and becomes ornaments instead of something that is aggressive and is there against you. Everything starts becoming beautiful. This beautiful awareness in Buddhism is called Sambhogakaya. as well as the awareness of the absolute dark, is the awareness of the blessed Dharmakaya. That's the base. The next is the impression of bliss. It's immensely powerful. In the very moment that we are hitting the base, it appears. It appears as a warm state in the heart. In this very moment, just because we are talking about this, I know you all have it. Yes? Yes. Say I. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So is that bliss, and that is the last point of the key. The relative mind appears to itself by a process of attention, because basically the relative mind is awareness too, is attention. So the first of the relative mind, of course, is to be aware of itself, to pay attention, to stop the process of thinking. That's attention. Or exactly that. The second point that we have is that this attention becomes concentrated. Suppose if we are going to make a meditation against the wall, just suppose, first we have the attention of the wall. Then immediately is a process of concentration, and we fix ourselves naturally in a point, whatever that point. That is called concentration. Then, at a point that the concentration have really get into a point for us, the insight is produced. Suddenly, you get aware that it's your mind. In that moment, you have a sudden enlightenment strike. It's called direct hit, because it's a direct hit. You recognize, aha, and it goes, and it comes back again, aha, and always it's like a thunder, and goes. Sometimes it stays a little bit longer, sometimes not. Do not be preoccupied. It's just the process of the mind is going to come more and more and more and more till it stabilizes. So this point that we say the insight is dramatically important, because it's the point of the actual sudden enlightenment, sudden recognition of what is the mind. What is the mind? Awareness. That's what the mind is. That's the thunder. Awareness. And comes totally natural, totally by itself, appears suddenly. You do not provoke it, even in the meditation. It just comes and goes. That's the sudden. The next point, we call it gnosis. That's the conviction that, aha, that's it, the mind. Conviction. Now you know. You cannot fail there. And now you can introduce to the person with even more conviction of what now he is experiencing. To never cut his experience, because then it's in the air and becomes just an intellectual, absurdity. The last is awareness is light, but clear light, again, is the awareness that everything is mind. When that awareness is like that, is that pristine awareness that everything is mind. You pacify yourself forever. You acquire peace. There is no more fight any longer. Trouble is gone. Everything disappears in that sequence. And more, that person now is going to be introduced into the light, and is going to start seeing the light more and more, what it means that his concentration evolves really by hundreds and still is living in an ordinary life, in an ordinary environment with nothing being changed, because that's not needed. Everything, again, are the ornaments of the mind, and now we go to the number 3, the ornamental mind. The nature of the mind that we call the ornamental mind is one thing, is the recognition that there is a base and the appearances and the base are one. Both are mind. And both are only one thing, attention. The attention of the absolute mind is from one point. The attention of the relative mind is by moving point. The difference, one is stable, the other one is moving. But both are the same. Both are mind. When we get there, bang, the ornamental mind appears, and it is a mind of union. The union have been produced. The absolute and the relative become unified. In alchemical terms, the moon and the sun becomes unified. Or the water and the fire becomes unified. Those things, if we don't think in these terms, are horrendous absurdities. But if we know what we are meaning, in fact, are about the best metaphors ever imagined. They are so ancient, they are so old. And that's why they are so effective. This is the wisdom of humanity. Comes since ever. Okay. So first, recognizing the nature of the mind is to recognize that the mind has a base, has thoughts, and the nature is awareness. Recognizing the nature of appearances. Here we are recognizing that appearances are nothing but thoughts. Thoughts belongs to my mind, and my mind is awareness. It's like you have to constantly come and repeat this cycle in your own self till it have crystallized, because it's there, but this is the process, or this is the process that your students have to go through, repeat and repeat and repeat till it really crystallizes. Now, recognizing the nature of thoughts, same thing. Thoughts are the same stuff than appearances. So thoughts, appearances, dreams, all the same. Then the mind of union. Here we understand that the appearances outside and the base of mind from where everything comes, that energy that comes from the base, and the appearances are not two things, in the sense that they are the same stuff. Don't forget that thing is very radical, say it's the same stuff. It's sure. Okay. And finally, ornaments. When they appear as ornaments for us is that impression of just looking, I'm very happy, just looking. Leaving everything as it is, not interfering, because now you are not attached to it. You are completely free. This is real freedom. And immediately it's felt like a tremendous relief. It's an enormous relief to know that all was just the game of your mind. And then now, from here on, you can enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with it. Because that is the other point. Velocity succeeds only when you get to such a high point of meditation that life becomes the meditation.
Awakening of the Mind Practices. Oscar Ichazo's Awakening of the Mind practices are grounded in direct experience through contemplation and meditation. To experience these meditations, Click on the tab of your choice below.